Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
All right.
So I want to. Can I interview?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay. So can you like introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, so first, my name is Muhammad Hazil bin Muhammad Nasri, and I am from the C60, and I'm currently in Diploma in English Communication, and so I'm pretty sure my courses is something that can be applied to what we are gonna do today, your interview today. So, yes.
Yes. So thank you for participate in this.
No problem.
Can we proceed to the first question?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So for the first question, do you know what is informal language?
What is informal language? Yes, I do.
So if you do know, and what are the type, and how do you differentiate them?
In my opinion, I think informal language is something that we use outside of formal English. You know, informal language is something like, for example, in English, it could be whatnot, or maybe teeny, that kind of stuff. Something that is kind of like made up, but it's not something that we learn from a dictionary, right?
Yeah, I do agree with you.
Okay.
So it's like you do know about the informal language and the usage of it, right? So for the second
Yes.
question, from the types of informal language that you have noticed, so which of them do you think you
Hmm.
use the most in your daily communication?
I would say like the kind of informal language that I use in my everyday community. No, I would say that I use a lot of informal language every day because sometimes we learn something new from social media. Like on Twitter, they use the word bamboo clad, and sometimes they use the word whatnot. And sometimes they do use the terms. I forgot they got this one term which is you cannot learn it from our official dictionary or in any English classes. You can only see it in Urban Dictionary on Google. So yeah, since I use social media almost every day, almost every hour, so yes, those are the kind
It's
of
like
informal language that I'm using.
this like the internet slang that we use in daily communication, right?
Yes, correct.
Same goes with the jargons and slang. It's
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
so yes, the slang. So slang
Mm-hmm.
is also a part of informal language, right? In our
Yes.
generation, the Gen Z.
Yes.
So in our generation, it is
Mm-hmm.
well known in creating and using slang in our daily communication. So do you have some slang that only you and your clique or your peers know the meaning of the that slang? I mean, like you use it with, among you and your clique.
Only among my friends. So basically, you're asking something like slang that I use only in my circles, but not with everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I do. We do have that, and our most preferred slang is something about doo doo. It is something that only the black people use on Twitter, so I always use it with my friends. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the slang that you use
Mm-hmm.
is among your friends, right? So like
Yes, only among my friends.
with the classmates, like that.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So do you perhaps find yourself not understanding some slangs because they have a lot of slangs in this in the Twitter, Instagram, and other social media. They have a lot of slang.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find yourself didn't understand any or some of the slang? And why do you think you think that you don't understand the?
Okay, I can quite catch what you're asking. So, uh,
Do you
as
want me to repeat my
no,
question?
no, no, I do. It's okay. But okay, so I understand what you're asking. So okay, as the time comes, And as the social media is getting bigger, you can see that the number of slangs booming inside the users, among the users. So basically, as day comes, more slangs are coming in. So be it anything, even like today, I open up my Twitter, I see like people are starting to use the word non-molar or something, which I don't understand what is non-molar. So with this whole widespread usage of slang or any informal language in social media, I can see that not all of them I understand. So let's say out of the 100%, only 10% I understand what kind of informal language they're using inside there. And I would say that I don't really know most of them. Yeah.
So apart from all the slangs,
Mm-hmm.
uh, could you could you use the informal language, especially the slang lah, in abbreviation or jargon causes communication?
No, I don't think so. No.
Why?
Because when you're using a jargon causes, or let's say when you're talking to people, I don't think so it's appropriate for you to use a slang or anything because sometimes uh, you can only use your slang if you know the other person or the third persons are using the same as yours because not everyone will understand it after all.
So it
Mm.
means like it can lead to the miscommunication, right?
Yes, correct. All the time.
So yeah, because some
Mm.
slang only you and your friends understand, but not other people, right?
Yes, correct.
So, in using the informal language is indeed a part of our lives because
Mm-hmm.
we use it in daily communication, in daily conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, informal language is more easy to be understood for some people.
Mm-hmm.
So, why do you think we are not allowed to use the explicitity of informal language in formal context? Like, for example, in assignment or
Okay.
in your conversation with lecturers, you can
Condition
use.
lectures. Okay, so for this question, I can divide it into two. One is formalities, and second one is respect. So in terms of assignment, why we are not allowed to use informal language is because assignment is something that you learn, and it is something that is, I would say, like formalities, and when you're doing your assignment, we're not allowed to use all the made up slang that we see on the social media or the one that people are using today because after all, you learn the how do you call it, like you learn English, you don't learn slang, so that's why you can only use formal language when it comes to assignment. It is about formalities. And as for the lecturers, because it is about respecting. And sometimes the informal language or this whole slang thing, you can only use it with someone that you're close to and someone that you call friends. And when it comes to our lecturer, we cannot always see them as our friends. Of course, we can be friends with them, but we can't treat them as a friend because we still have that sense of respect to them since they are older and maybe they are and also they are the one that teach us, so it's a form of respect why we are not allowed to use informal language with our lecturer.
So the respect should be maintained, right?
Yes.
So, you say that you are a diploma English communication student.
Uh-huh.
So, as a DEC student, do
Mm-hmm.
you think that by using informal language too often in daily
Mm-hmm.
communication,
Mm-hmm.
by or the fact that grammar exists, can affect your literary performance?
Yes, it can. Because, okay, if I speak based on my experience, I remember there's this one phase, this one time I was using a lot of informal language among my friends and even to some of my lecturers that I'm close to. And I realized that long usage of the informal language or the terms actually affected my exam, which too leads to my marks, of course, because when I look at my answer, I realize that I use some of the informal language inside there when we know that it's not allowed to use in a formal exam or any assessment. After all, the formal language is only meant to use in our communication when we speak, but not when we are typing in something formal. So yes, in some way, if a person uses a lot of informal language or any slang in their real life, it could actually affect their academic results because they might tend to use it or they might bring it to their paper sometimes. So yes, I agree with your question.
So, regarding the same situation in the previous question,
Mm-hmm.
so do you think that by using informal language, especially slang,
Mm-hmm.
abbreviation, and
Okay.
jargon, affects
Uh-huh.
your fluency in speech. Uh, you
Mm,
use this informal language, and they can affect your the fluence in your speech.
no, I don't think so. Because sometimes we use formal language because, I'm sorry, we use informal language or this whole slang, abbreviated or jargon because it is something that is easier to use and to explain to people. So when you have the confidence or when you think that it's easier to explain that way, you can see that along with it, you can somehow sharpen your fluency and also your English proficiency at the same time. So to me, whenever you're speaking to your friend, just speak with whatever words that you're comfortable with, or with something that you feel comfortable and confident, and in some way it will help to build your English proficiency at the same time. So it's okay to use informal language because in some way it helps you too, but not in your exam. Yes.
Okay, so we
Mm.
are close to the end. So we have
Oh,
two more questions. Are you
okay,
still
no
with me?
problem. Yes, I am.
So if you're given the chance to reset
Mm-hmm.
the word, so do you still want the informal and formal language to coexist, or do you wish to choose only one of the two to exist?
To me, I still want both to exist because somehow the informal language and the formal language are there because it is the fundamental and basically the foundation of whatever language we are learning. So informal language in some way it helps us to understand better, I would say. So at the same time, it must exist together. So I believe that if I were to pick, I want both of them to exist at the same time. I don't want to just be formal language, otherwise it will be boring.
So, okay, I
Mm,
do agree with
mm,
it. So
mm.
usually, this is the last question. I promise you this is the
No,
last
it's okay,
question.
it's okay, it's fine.
So,
Mm-hmm.
usually, formal language is to be used while communicating with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Like the formal language, formal,
Mm-hmm.
used to be used while
Mm-hmm.
communicating with someone of a high position,
Okay.
or elderly,
Mm-hmm.
managers or bosses in a company.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think this situation happens, and why do we have to use formal language towards them?
Okay, all right. So, if one thing I know, one thing about formal language, it is actually used in a sometimes in a protocol, in formalities, or anything that is official, like our examination, meeting, you know. So this whole informal language and slang is something that we use in a how do you call it in a normal conversation. It is not something that can be used in official. So let's say when you're in a meeting with someone in a higher position or your bosses or even your parents, the elders, your lecturers, so we have to use the formal language because like I said before, it's a form of respect and also it's actually one of the protocol that have to be that people must be that must be followed in some sort of association or business. So at the same time, just imagine the situation. Let's say you're having a meeting and you are meeting with your parents or maybe your partner's parents. So imagine if you use an informal language. At some point, they might think that you are being disrespectful, you know. So yeah. Oops.